Hello and welcome to Duet or Don't, the show where a different songwriter and I write and record a brand new song from scratch live in your ears every week. My name is Liam, aka Baby Molly, and today my guest is Tyler Beck, aka Stumpy. As always, we'll be having a quick little chat about how we're feeling right now, what's on our mind, what's bugging us in our lives and in the world, and then coming up with an entire brand new song. We have a 2-hour time limit to get from "Hi, how are you?" to a finished and recorded song. We'll be sharing our process with you along the way. For example, why does this kick drum remind me of my high school bully? Why does the G major chord make me feel sad and nostalgic? Is the lyric "Howdy Girl" an ironic postmodern take on existential feminology and feminism? Then we'll listen to the song together and decide if it's horrible or amazing. Do we love it or hate it, aka Duet or Don't? All right, Tyler Beck, thank you so much for being here. How's it going?
Thank you, Liam, for having me. It's going well. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing very, very good. Thanks for asking. So, for our listeners here, Tyler Beck goes by the artist name Stumpy. Tyler, aka Stumpy, is a songwriter and producer from Mesa, Arizona. He's also a co-producer in Mars and Nebula, and the bassist of Louis on Tour. And they've been playing music for
Louis on tour.
Louis on Tour. Thank you for correcting me. For Louis on Tour. They've been playing music for almost 12 years and play guitar, keyboard, bass, ukulele. They sing and do music production. And Tyler is also the host of the Your Thoughts podcast. Am I missing anything there?
No, you covered it all.
Perfect. So, what's going on in your world right now? How's life?
Oh, in my world? I live in the U.S., so it's kind of crazy right now.
Yes, I've seen the news. I've heard about that. That's pretty wild. How do you feel about this? What's going on?
I am not surprised by any of it.
Okay.
I don't know if we want to go into politics. I don't know how much time we even have, but like the corruption, the craziness, like it's been very predictable, I think.
Yeah. I mean, as someone who I grew up about a 30-minute drive from the U.S. border in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. And so I spent a lot of time growing up in the States. I spent a lot of time traveling around the States later in life. But as kind of an outsider who is like looking in, I also kind of was able to gather, basically that what I'm trying to say is that, nothing that has happened recently is really a surprise to me that much.
No, I think what's surprising is that less has been done to alleviate any of this tension.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how or who would be the responsible one for alleviating it, but it's interesting to talk about. Is there anything like specific that you're kind of passionate about right now that's going on? Or anything that's really bugging you about the tension and the events that are going on?
My whole thing has been I've been trying to really push the concept of communication, because I think that really will solve a lot of the issues. I think a lot of people are just ignoring their let's say brothers and sisters. Like, really, we need to love each other. We have to love each other. We need to communicate. We need to have these conversations, even if it hurts, even if like things come up that we've been trying to bury historically. Like, we have to. If we want any sort of progress, we have to communicate. That's why I started my podcast. That's a huge theme in my music, like meditation and communication and personal development. Like, we really need to work on it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that one thing that everyone understands but isn't putting into practice is that if we were able to just listen to each other, most of the issues would actually alleviate themselves, because we would understand and have empathy for the quote unquote other side in anything, whether you are politically different, whether you are demographically different. if you were just able to like listen for a second and actually like basically believe what people are saying, um, then I think that would be getting to the root of like 95% of problems in the world as we know them.
Yeah. At the end of the day, there are no sides.
Yeah, exactly. Just people. It's like when they, some like artistic film wants to show, the. I'm just thinking actually of a music video that I saw recently. They're trying to show like how pointless everything is. Like they show like an image of like the globe, and you can't even see human people. But then like they dive in, and it's like, people killing each other. Like there's guns, there's like violence, there's like, people at the top, super like oligarchs, while there's like people dying on the streets. It's like it doesn't make any sense. And then you zoom back out, and it's like we're literally just like these
A ball.
creatures
Just
crawling on
done.
this rock. Yeah, it's all totally made up, and we're all just like basically animals that have somehow managed sentience and gotten to the top of the food chain somehow, and that's the only reason that any of this exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty depressing, but I don't know.
What song and artist was that?
It's a song called "Begin Again" by the Veils, and it's kind of like they don't do the zoom out to the world, I don't think, in the music video, but the premise of the music video is that he's like sitting at like a news desk as like an anchor, and he's like mouthing the lyrics, but the image, like, the what's it called, like the overlay image of the news is like all of these events that are happening around the world, and like
Oh,
cross
gotcha.
referencing like a baby being born with like, soldiers being like killed in the desert, cross like referencing all of these like different things. Like what's the point of any of it? We're all just literally our own main character, but yet we think that we are the only ones that feel that way, and we think everyone else is like a dum dum if they, aren't the exact same. But like everyone grows up in different circumstances, everyone grows up speaking different languages, both like literally and metaphorically. So yeah, it's very frustrating, I would say.
Yeah. Everything is perspective, really.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And do you have any sort of like idea of some sort of alleviation, or some sort of idea of what could actually be a path? Or is it just kind of like you understand that the because I don't have any clue basically of how to fix it, but I know what the problem is. You know what I mean? It seems like the only solution is literally like, hundreds more years of torture for millions and billions of people, which we don't really. If we also continue on this path, we don't have hundreds more years. So I don't know. Do you have any idea? What's your take on that?
I don't know if my solution is correct, but I'm gonna bring it back to conversation. Like, really, this is how you and I have met. How we're having this conversation. We have different world perspectives, different lifestyles, like completely different experiences. But if we have communication, none of that matters. And if I'm so consumed in an ideology, or my values are so differential from how you perceive reality, then we're never going to get anywhere. We're only going to have conflict.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. And so just basically like kind of, do you think that there's a way that we could get to that point where people are listening to each other and having conversations? Do you think there's a world where that happens like in a reasonable amount of time, like let's say 10 years?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Cool.
I'm for sure going to try.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll say that in the time since that I kind of discovered or started discovering because I'm still not, like fully aware or educated in everything, like just like any other human being. Like the more you know, the more you learn that you don't know.
Yeah.
But since I started like focusing on basically the knowledge that things are not set in stone and everything is new, like things that people think are the way that the world works have only been around for like 50 to 100 years of like billions of years of Earth's existence. And just
Lived in the
realizing
grand
that
scheme of everything.
yeah, exactly, just realizing that I don't know, because I have not, what I'm trying to say is I have not really gotten too much, like I don't have arguments with people, basically is what I'm trying to say. I don't know if that's who I surround myself with, but it's kind of this what we're talking about. Like literally, if you just talk and listen to people, like everyone's on the same page,
Yeah.
but they're just all riled up by various outside sources.
And how to get there.
Exactly.
How to actually reach the solutions.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I think it's a very interesting topic. What do you think about a song topic, or you want to move on?
Sure. I'm always down to write political stuff.
Awesome. Okay. So let's decide, like, what's the concrete idea of this song? Like the need for communication, or like the misunderstanding, the rift between, perceived sides, like you mentioned. What do you think?
I'm thinking the title, The Great Divide.
The Great Divide? Cool. I like it. Sounds good. So the Great Divide. All right. And then we're going to flip a coin to see who goes first. I'll let you call it in the air. A virtual coin flip. Here we go. Heads or tails?
Tails.
Heads. All right. I think for the Great Divide, I'm going to choose that you go first. So I'll let you create what you need to create. And then basically we'll come back and take a listen and see what we think. So, oh wait, hold on. I skipped something here. Yeah, okay. All right. So Tyler Beck and I will be writing a brand new song from scratch about the Great Divide. The timer is running. We're going to write and record this song how we think is best. Then we'll listen to the whole thing start to finish and decide, duet or don't.
Okay, so I added a drum line to the guitar. So right now, Liam is tracking his portion of the song. This is a very interesting process. What I did was track bass, guitar, and produce some drums. Did some compression to the guitar and the bass. Quantized both the bass and the guitar. Yeah, there's not a lot of time to do a lot, so it's very fascinating how quick you have to really get it. I think I don't know. I can actually pull it up. I don't know how long it is, but it's not very long. So the premise of his show is very interesting. 2 hours to completely make a song, collaborate on it, and I'm stoked to see what he adds to it. So if you're enjoying watching this, please check out Your Thoughts podcast. Please check out our Patreon You can subscribe at oh fuck, I forgot. It's Patreon.com/Tyler Beck. I have a website, yourthoughtspodcast.com. This episode, it's going to be posted on Your Thoughts YouTube page, but this is actually Liam's podcast. Premise called Duet or Don't. Very interesting. Fucking stoked to see what it comes up with. We build things up just to tear them down. If I've got different views, you're gonna chase me out of town. What is it that you value if nothing matters now? If I'm not even human to you, what will you do now? It's not the same as yesterday. If we can't talk in conversation, if we don't see eye to eye, that doesn't mean you have to die. It's like we've lost all of our humanity. I'm looking at myself and I'm not liking what I see. How can we live if all we do is lie, steal, and cheat? This isn't what human life is supposed to be. If I saw you on a different day, would you still think all I do is hate? That's not what I'm trying to convey. It goes in one ear, out the other. It's not the same as yesterday. If we can't talk in conversation, if we don't see eye to eye, that doesn't mean you have to die. It's like we've lost all of our humanity. I'm looking at myself and I'm not liking what I see. How can we live if all we do is lie, steal, and cheat? This isn't what human life is supposed to be. I won't give up. It's not enough to watch all of my people fight until they die. We have to stop before we drop the biggest bombs that anybody has ever seen. The song is called Grievance Studies by Stumpy. So the premise of the song that Liam and I are writing is it's based on I don't know how it always ends up getting to this topic. I mean, I bring it up, but like everybody resonates really well with it. It's the song is called "The Great Divide," and it's about connection and communication and trying to like resonate with other people, because especially right now with the current climate, I don't think it's just this country. I don't think it's like, I recently talked to a podcaster from Romania. He feels the same way. Liam's in Canada. He feels the same way. My friends in Arizona feel the same way. People all across the U.S. feel the same way. So I really think that we need some communication, and that's that was the idea that I had. I feel like Liam resonates with that, but I can't speak for him personally. But that was what I put into this song. Granted, there's no lyrics on my end. It's all guitar, bass, and drums. Looks like he might be writing some lyrics, so pretty stoked to see what he comes up with. We're about an hour and 13 minutes in. It's fascinating, man. Like, I don't know how good of a musician he is. I haven't heard anything that he's come up with. Like, he said that he's toured before, and he actually went to the trunk space in Arizona, which is that's fucking crazy. Like, this dude is from Toronto. He stayed in Mesa. That's where I'm from. He stayed there in a hotel in Mesa, and he went to the trunk space, which is in downtown Phoenix area. And dude's actually toured in the US. That's incredible. Very impressive. So yeah, what's on your guys' mind? Yeah. Yeah, you. What's up? How's it going? Oh, yeah? Oh, really? Okay. Right. I hope you all think I'm as weird as I think I am. We are live on the set of Duet or Don't, doing a cross podcast with Liam Morrison. Got my camera set up, got the mics and all this jazz. Doing an interface and 2 camera setup. Liam. Liam is over there tracking. So what we're doing is a cross podcast kind of collaboration. We're making a song, and I did the first half. I did drums, bass, and guitar, and he's doing the second half. It looks like he is tracking some guitar and vocals. I haven't heard what he's done yet, so pretty stoked to see what he's coming up with. I feel like it needs to come back in heavy at the very end.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was amazing.
Cool. Awesome. Cool. I like the reaction so far. How did you like the process of this podcast?
Oh, I love it. This is amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah, this is a very interesting concept.
Yeah.
While you were doing your thing, I was kind of just like narrating what I was seeing you do,
Okay.
and just trying to fill the space. I played one of my songs that's kind of relevant to this concept that we're going for.
Yeah.
And tried to explain the song itself, at least from my perspective and where I was coming from with the drums, bass, and guitar.
Cool.
I love the lyrics that you came up with and
Oh yeah,
the additional guitar.
cool. Yeah, I'm glad you like it. I the lyrics were I couldn't come up with more than one like quartet there, so I just used it twice because I was
Yeah.
like, oh, we're out, we're out of time. But yeah, it's I think the melody kind of came. The first melody came to me pretty naturally, like as soon as I heard your part, and then when I did my guitar part, I kind of did the second part where I went down and kind of matched the guitar a little bit. Um, so
I
the
heard you added something on my guitar section as well. The It sounds like there is some reverb or
Yeah,
something.
I added some reverb and some like I guess pitch shift, chorusy pitch shift, light pitch shift, just to, like so that it kind of sticks out a little bit more with the other guitar. Um, yeah, it sounded. I think it sounds pretty cool. It's like very '90s, like or maybe even like 2000s, like emo rock kind of vibe, which is like straight right up my alley.
Same. It's
Yeah.
hilarious that you said that because that's a huge genre influence for me making music.
Oh yeah. Who are some of your like biggest influences?
Um, Heaviest influences, if we're going like from that era,
Yeah.
brand new Panic at the Disco, Fall Out Boy. Uh, been pretty into Thrice lately. I wasn't back then, but
Yeah.
like going back and listening to music from that era, trying to find influences. Tiger's Jaw,
Nice.
Balance and Composure.
Yeah. Cool.
A little bit later in the 2000s era, but still like
Yeah.
that same kind of genre.
Yeah. And man, that's like my forte. I love that stuff. It's like, yeah, I was so emo during that time. It's like not even funny. Yeah,
Yeah,
those
same.
bands are all like my style for sure. That's awesome. What was your favorite part or least favorite part or both of this song or this process?
um, I mean, obviously the time constraint, but that's kind of that's the downfall, but also the appeal of this. So,
Yeah.
like as a musician, I'm kind of a perfectionist, so like it can always be better, and with the time constraint, it can't. It's like whatever you come up with is what it is.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with what you came up with, just because like I had no real kind of baseline or expectation of what you even do as a musician.
Okay.
I hadn't
Cool.
heard any of your music, or and I'm assuming it's the same for me, from your perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I listened before this interview. I listened to like your podcasts and stuff to like just the most recent episode, not like all of your episodes, but just gather a bit of. So I was like looking on your website and stuff. But yeah, I didn't check out your music at all.
Oh, right on. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a music section on my website.
Okay.
Um, I don't have like everything I've been working on for the past year, and even like the past 5 years. It's all unreleased at this point.
Okay. Cool.
So most of the music that I've put out it's not even close to what I can do now.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. Are you planning on releasing stuff soon?
I'm really hoping so.
Yeah.
It's funny how like for one of my projects, we spent 3 years writing the material. We started the process of recording it, and then everything fell apart.
Oh no.
And that was some of the best stuff that I have ever written. Um, but ironically enough, I'm in a band with the same members, and we're bringing back some of those songs, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But before that, like we had written an EP. In the project that I'm currently in called Mars and Nebula, we're writing an EP. We've got 6 songs, and that one's production based, so everything is recorded, which is amazing. In the past 2 years, I've learned so much about production. I would not have been able to do this podcast like a year ago or 2 years ago.
Yeah. That's awesome. Very cool. Yeah. Did you what kind of emotions was this bringing up, or what kind of memories or feelings were in your mind when you were writing this?
Whenever I think about this topic, and I I just bring it out of people for some reason. I always like bring it up and then they're like, yes, I resonate with that. So we always do stuff around this topic.
Oh,
But
really?
it's always like disillusionment, but hope at the same time.
Yeah, I tried to go in that direction from our first discussion. I tried to go there with the lyrics. But like, like something's coming from the Great Divide, but then if we could only open our ears and eyes. So it was kind of like I
Yeah.
was trying to do both of the sides of that because it kind of, like you mentioned, matches that sentiment and also matches what we were talking about originally before we started. And I'm always curious about this. Does it feel like artwork to you? Like, does this feel like a song that you've created, or just a song you churned out because you're on the podcast?
No, I love it. Like
Yeah,
I'm impressed with how good it sounds.
honestly, me too.
I wasn't sure how this would turn out.
Yeah, I think that's the fun part, I guess. So I know we got to wrap it up. So I'll get to the final question here for you.
Okay.
Do you love it or hate it? Do you feel it or want to forget it? Do you have affection or affliction, passion or pain? Tyler, it's the name of the game. We want to know. Duet or don't?
Duet.
Same. I'll say duet too. I love this vibe. It's like right up my alley. The 90s, 2000s emo kind of rock. Not too like heavy, but definitely like very kind of emotional in every
Yeah.
way. And I like the vibe of it. So, did you have anything else that you wanted to say quickly here before you got to go?
Um, is it okay if I plug some stuff?
Yeah, I was gonna plug it for you, but yeah, you can
Oh,
go ahead.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, I'll do some stuff that you probably don't know about. I have a Patreon. It's under Tyler Beck. The Patreon it encompasses everything that I do. It's not just my podcast. It's not just my brand. It's all of it. So the music, the brand, the podcasts, all the different projects. What I'm trying to do is make art my full-time gig, but that's very difficult. So if you enjoyed this content, if you see my content and enjoy that, please donate. I also have a website, www.yourthoughtspodcast.com. It brings you to the homepage of Aggregate Perspective, which is my brand, but the podcast is the media channel for the brand. Um, Most of my music is unreleased at this point, but you can check out Mars and Nebula on Facebook. We've kind of just been posting snippets of us doing production stuff and kind of just fucking around, really. But there is an EP that is coming. The songs are tracked, they're just unreleased at this point. I also have an album coming out under Stumpy, hopefully this year. Hopefully. That whole project has been me learning how to do production on my own as a solo artist. So it's for me, it's my best material. It's like at the heart of who I am as a solo artist. So I'm really excited about that one. And then Louis on tour, I don't know. Eventually we'll come up with something. That's the same band that I was talking about. Like we didn't finish the first album. We turned into a new band, so hopefully we finish this album, but I'm not holding my breath.
Cool.
I just love those guys.
Yeah, awesome. Love it. All right. And yeah, so there you heard it. You can find him. Patreon is the place to go for everything. If you want to get all of the content, donate and sign up for the Patreon, it sounds like. And like you mentioned, he's the host of the Your Thoughts podcast. You can find him online. I'll link to all of his Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and SoundCloud and all of these links in the show notes. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. I had a blast. I really liked the song that we came up with, and thank you. I really do appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on, Liam.